Good morning, everyone. Kirsten Kloss here with Refreshed IT, Refreshed Events, and netcastevent.com. I'm here in studio with Chris Hamilton, and just wanted to give a quick introduction that we are recording this broadcast. It will be available to watch on demand after today. If you happen to be watching this in the recorded version later on, we make reference to a live chat room. Obviously, there won't be a live chat room, and there won't be the streaming PowerPoint presentation accompanying the recorded version. So I just want to let you know, if you happen to be watching the re-recording later on, that's what's happening. So we'll begin here in about 30 seconds. Thanks very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining again. It's Kirsten Kloss here in studio with Chris Hamilton. Thanks for, again, joining us for our live weekly netcast on sales and marketing tips. Today, what we're going to talk about is the 12 things I learned from Twitter, featuring Chris Hamilton. And Chris contributed to a book by Jeffrey Gitomer, and wrote a chapter on Twitter. And so he's kind of taken all his thoughts and put them together into one quick little broadcast here, and give you some tips on how to benefit from that incredible tool. A couple other things just before we get started here. I first of all wanted to make sure that you understood how this live event occurs. Of course, if you're watching on an iPhone, all you can do, or on a BlackBerry for that matter, all you can do is watch the video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be flipping back and forth between PowerPoint presentation and live video for the benefit of those that are just watching on their mobile devices. If you happen to be joining us on our website, there are a few additional features on the website that you can use to participate in the live broadcast. And first of all, if you have any issues with the live broadcast or the live feed, you can adjust that by pressing, if for any reason it freezes or stops for any reason, there's a refresh button on the bottom left-hand corner of the live video. If you click onto that, that resolves most issues. If you also have some issues with the stream quality and it has to be choppy or stopping on a regular basis, it might be your internet connection. If that's the case, we've offered a lower bandwidth version, we call it, and it's the 500 kbps link, and you'll see that below the open PowerPoint presentation. There's one for Ustream. If you click that, you'll see a lower quality broadcast that might be better suited to your internet connection. Just a word of note, there are ads supporting that additional service, so you might have to endure a 30-second ad. It's not one of our ads, it's just the free service we use to stream that second broadcast. Mobile users, of course, if you know anybody that's on a mobile device, they can click onto the mobile users button, and that'll open this up in a mobile full screen. One other thing, there is a PowerPoint presentation that Chris will be flipping through all the slides, and that is located just below the live video button, or live video area, I should say. That'll open a separate window, and you can watch his PowerPoint presentation. You can also flip through the slides yourself by selecting one of the buttons at the top and flip through the slides on your own. To the right of the live broadcast is a question box. You can ask private questions there, and we will receive those on our mobile devices. So if you have any questions you just want to send directly to us, feel free to ask them there. Most questions are going to be answered in the live chat area, which is located to the left of the live broadcast. That is a chat room. If you enter your name, you can just put your first name in there and then enter your message. Then we know who you are. If you don't put anything in there, you'll be an anonymous guest. So leave your questions there and comments. Please open up a chat, comment to other users what your experiences are regarding Twitter. It's great to have that open dialogue. Above that are a couple social tools. One is a Tweetcast, and the second is a Facebook comment. If you click onto those, you can make comments there about yourself, your uses of Twitter, talk about this broadcast, and that will broadcast through your Twitter network. It'll basically send a tweet, and we'll have a hashtag associated with that called hashtag SoakNetcast. That will, anybody on the internet that's interested in our netcast will be able to share in your comments. It's a nice way to kind of share in the experience with everyone else. And of course, the same applies to Facebook. You can leave your comments there. And of course, with both of those, you have to be logged into your accounts. Likewise, at the end of the broadcast, if you did receive a username and password to access our show notes, those show notes will accompany the broadcast afterwards. There will be downloads there. You can be able to download the PowerPoint presentation and various other things by following that. And if you log in, you'll be able to follow that link. There is actually a direct link on the right-hand corner below the question box called Social Netcast. That's a direct link to that follow-up as well. So one other thing, of course, we've got this nice little feedback button on the bottom right here. What do you think? Click applause or boo if you don't like what our broadcast is like. We'd like to hear the feedback. And I don't trace, well, maybe I should trace who boos me. But anyways, I don't. So let's get this started. Thanks again for joining. So Chris, why don't you take it away and talk to us a little bit about Twitter?
Will do. Actually, a couple things up front here that I need to talk about is, for those of you who have tuned in before, you know that my wife is pregnant right now. In fact, she's like 8.97 months pregnant. So she's literally, by next Friday, we will have a new kid in our house. So she's actually at a doctor's. Yay! I had nothing to do with it. I am joking. She's at a doctor's appointment. So I do have my phone here. If she calls, I'll have to motor through this presentation as quick as possible.
You might even just leave.
Yeah, I'll let Kirsten finish it off. So that's one. Two, it's a downer day here today in Calgary because it's actually snowing. I wake up, it's snowing. It's like the end of April and it's snowing. I'm just absolutely upset.
I mean, you look at the backdrop of you right there. It looks pretty nice out.
But,
yeah. Actually, that's just.
See, I look behind me. That's a green.
That's just a green screen.
It's all green. Anyways, I'll get on with the presentation here so we can get through and get people back to their day. So, as Kirsten alluded to, I was asked by Jeffrey Gitomer to contribute to a social media book that he wrote called Social Boom, and he contacted me in kind of mid-January timeframe and asked me to put something together. And what happened was he actually had seen an article that I wrote on my daily blog that was entitled, I think it was the things I learned in my first year of blogging. And he tried to connect with me on LinkedIn. And funny story behind this one is he sent me an invitation to connect with him on LinkedIn and had call me at the bottom. And I thought that was just a standard response that he did. And so I pinged him back and said, you know, I'd be glad to connect with you and really honored, quite impressed with all the stuff you do. Is there anything I can do for you? Like 2 seconds later, pings me back. He goes, call me. So, anyways, long story short, I ended up talking to him, and he got me to come and contribute to this book, which was great because early April, this got to number 6 on the Amazon bestsellers list, and it's actually number 1 on a whole bunch of different sublists on Amazon right now. So it's the marketing, internet marketing, retail for some reason or other. I don't know. But anyways.
It's a big shot now.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Apparently, that and 25 cents will get me a coffee. I don't even 25 cents will get you a coffee. So long story short, I contributed to a section in there on Twitter. So I thought I'd share this with you today. Not only am I going to share with you the 12 things that I wrote about, I found 8 others that I could put in there. So I'm going to share about 20 things with you. So we'll go through a lot of that stuff. So first things that I put in here was use Twitter regularly. So, you know, that's with anything that you do. You have to use it on a regular basis to make sure that it works and stuff like that. You can't do something once and say it didn't work and walk away from it. And ideally, you know, if you set up a Twitter account, and if you do not have a Twitter account, I would highly recommend, and I've said this in a couple of netcasts before, is go out and claim your name on social media sites, being, you know, like Flickr, Twitter, if you can, Facebook, any of the social media sites. Make sure you claim it because that's real estate that you'll need for the future. Anyways, back to the point is, you know, at least tweet once every day or once every couple of days. I blast out numerous tweets a day. I bet you I'm up to about 20, 30 a day now or something like that. And typically, what you want to do is just have it out there on a regular basis so that, you will get a following and you will get people coming back and taking a look at stuff, listing you, so on and so forth and stuff like that. Big point, make sure that you use it on a regular basis. That's just the easiest way to get going with things. The number 2 thing that I learned from Twitter is it is an excellent source of traffic. And when I say traffic, I mean traffic to my blog site. It is actually my number 3 source of traffic to my daily sales marketing blog at salestipaday.com. Right behind generic or organic traffic results and Google. Pushing me through on things. So it's number 3. Represents roughly any time between the month about 12 to 15% of the traffic to my website. And ideally, how I do that is every day I write a blog post. I put a little snippet and I put the website link on there. And I'll touch on a couple of points later on here as to how I group people in and get them and push them through to this sort of stuff. And then I post it out on on Twitter 3 to 4 times a day, typically at certain times during the day. I'll get to that in a sec here as to what times you should actually be posting and stuff like that. Once again, if you write something on a regular basis, you work for a company and you do update their website and stuff like that. If you have any kind of information, it's a great way to actually push people through to your website as well. So great source of traffic. The next one is number 3 is what I call respond. And if you're familiar with Twitter, people will contact you one of 2 ways. The first way is with an @ and then your name. So mine would be @salestipaday. And the other way is through direct messages. I'm going to talk more specifically about the @ side of things. If someone contacts you or sends something out to you or tries to connect with you that way, it's only polite to respond back to them. I do have to admit, there's only so many hours in the day. I don't necessarily get back to people ASAP because I'm not on Twitter all the time. But typically I will either respond back, or if someone's actually posted something or retweeted what I've done, I'll send them a note with the @ symbol and their name and say, thanks for retweeting, or hey, saw that you did this, thank you very much, I appreciate it, type thing. So make sure that if someone actually reaches out to you on Twitter, that you respond. Same thing with direct messages. I'll kind of get to direct messages in the kind of latter half here because of the fact that this is one that did not show up on the 12 things I learned about Twitter, but I do want to talk to it. If someone pings you with a direct message, same sort of thing. Contact them back and try to connect with them. So I'll talk about direct messages in a couple of minutes here on this one too. So make sure that you respond to them. That's number 3. Number 4 is share. So one of the things that I often take a look at on Twitter is if you find something of interest to you. So say you're out surfing the web and you find a great article that you think people would like. Make sure that you tweet that article out. Or if you find something like a great webcast like we're doing today or something like that, and you think other people would find it of interest, that's the whole nature of Twitter as well. It's just sharing that amongst people that are following you, and make sure that you give them that kind of information. It's a whole nature of paying it forward, I guess, is the best way to look at it. So number 4 is make sure you share. Now, number 5, this is really important, and I go keep tweets short. And the reason why you want to keep your tweets short is the fact is that you only have 140 characters in which to get your message across. Make sure that it is hard hitting and that you get that message across in that 140 characters. And that is absolutely important because people have only so much time to look at what your tweets are to push them through and see what it's about. So basically keep your tweets as short as possible if you can. Now this next one plays into this as well, which is number 5, which was keep them short, is make sure you leave room for retweeting. And this one I got from the author of Unmarketing, and I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. Somebody Stratton, Mark Stratton, something like that. Anyways, he brought this up in his book Unmarketing, which is a great book if you ever want to read it. Leave rooms for retweeting. Leave 20 characters off the end. You have 140 characters in which to get your message out, but do it in 120. And the reason being is that if someone wants to retweet it, then their name comes up at the beginning, or they can put some information in at the beginning of this one as well. And that way, your tweet the full message will be seen, and it goes out to their members. And what you want from that is, this is where things go viral. If you have 1,000 followers and you get 5 to 10 of these people retweeting it out to them, and they have 1,000 followers, there's 5 to 10,000 potential impressions of people looking at your stuff. So make sure that you leave room at the very end. 120 characters or less. So I always look when I'm typing on HootSuite or on Social Loom, for any of the ones that I use, or even Twitter itself, to make sure that there's 20 characters left at the end. Very important on that one. It's getting your message to go viral. So that's number 6, leave room to retweet. Number 7, the old pound key there, or the hashtag. The hashtag. This is absolutely one of the coolest things, and I'm sure a lot of you may know this or you may not know this, but this allows you to group what your message is about. And I'll give you an example. Every day when I put out my sales and marketing tip a day through Twitter, I use hashtag marketing, so that when people are searching, they will see that this comes under that marketing side. I used to use sales, but I realized after the fact that sales, people would put up like Nordstrom sales and, sales at stores and stuff like that. So I didn't get people finding it. But when you put in hashtag and marketing, then it groups it. People find it, and they find it of interest, and they come through to your information that you may be pushing out, or may try to contact you and stuff like that. So make sure that you use the hashtags to group your thoughts of what your message is all about, or what your tweet is all about. So that's number 7, is use hashtags. Number 8, it's kind of morbid. I got the tombstones there. Short lifespan. Tweets have an absolutely short lifespan. If you are online at any given time and you're on Twitter or any of the services that you can use through Twitter, TweetDeck, HootSuite, or stuff like that, depending on how many followers you have or how many you're following and stuff like that, you'll put your message up and literally it'll disappear within a nanosecond after that. These things, they are such a short shelf life on these things. Once again, that's why you want to try to use the hashtag, so that people can find your information or know what it's grouping about, so that, if you sent something out and you want to get found, ultimately, if someone types in hashtag marketing or looks up marketing and stuff like that, you may have tweeted an hour ago, but your tweet will still show up and people can find that stuff. So remember, there is a short lifespan to tweets, and use the hashtags to make sure that you can extend that lifespan on these things. The next one I have is called finding opportunities. Love the money coming out of the wallet there. Twitter is a great way to use the search box. There's a search box at the very top of Twitter where you can find certain phrases or certain information and stuff like that. And I always use the example of finding a job. If you type in job in your city, so we'll use job in Calgary or something like that, or you go sales job Calgary, or you put quotations around sales job and then Calgary and stuff like that, those results will come back, and you find this kind of hidden opportunities that exist out in Twitter to find jobs. You find opportunities. One of the things you can say is look for the term help, or I need help, or something like that. Sometimes those kind of results will come back, and you'll find people that are looking for information. In fact, yesterday I sent one out and no one responded to it. It was crazy. I'm looking for a venue in Calgary to host an event. Kirsten and I are looking for a venue in Calgary to host an event. And, I put it out there saying, can someone tell me, please, where we might be able to find something like this? People like me go out and I try to find opportunities online. And I use Twitter to try to use the 10 to 20,000 people that I have following me to draw stuff in. So anyways, a long story short on this one is, use the search function. Think about what your clients may be looking for, or what you're looking for and stuff like that, and try to search and try to find those opportunities out there that you can leverage to go and get business as well. So it's a great, great opportunity in there. Did you find any sales jobs? Were you looking online?
I'm just flipping through different stuff here. I just noticed that I didn't put Calgary in my tweets for today's netcast, so I didn't show up. See, lesson learned.
Yes, exactly.
Thanks, Chris.
No problem.
I just learned something.
Yes. Well, the other thing too is actually I'm trying to sell my house right now, so I'm using the airport code, which is YYC for Calgary, and I found if you go hashtag YYC and then hashtag YYCRE, which is real estate. I have a whole bunch of guys out there that are just reblasting my tweets out on my house right now and stuff like that. Oh yeah, it's great. It's great. There's opportunity for you. Once again, hashtags are wonderful. I love them. I think they're great. The next one I'm going to get into is scheduling tweets. And you know what? People will probably hate me for saying this because they think Twitter is a conversation tool. I'll get to this in a few minutes too on this one and my thoughts on that. But there's a lot of different services that you can use to schedule tweets out. And two that I use predominantly are HootSuite. So I don't know if you've got HootSuite up there or not, but HootSuite gives you the ability to take a piece of information and schedule it throughout the day or at a period of time in the future so that people can, so you can still get your message out there. And how I use that is, once again, with my daily blog posts that I do, I could put something in for 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 12 o'clock, and all have different sayings behind them and phrases and stuff like that. But the fact is that I may not be around from 10 o'clock till 12 o'clock, so I can't post them out there. But I still want to draw people into my website and stuff like that. So, ideally, I can post those and get people to come in. One thing I would not recommend is that if you're trying to engage people and you're doing it through a HootSuite or a social oomph or something like that, the problem there is that if you're trying to engage people and you walk away from your computer and say you're in a meeting or something like that, and it says, what do you think about blah, 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 and you put it out there and people start responding and you're not there, that just looks bad. So use it for, the best way possible, I guess, is to convey information to people, but not engage in a conversation, which, Twitter is used for the conversation side of things. So ideally, a couple of the good ones, like I say, are Social Oomph and also HootSuite. I'm going to get to Social Oomph in a few minutes here just to kind of talk a little bit about it and how I use that tool as well. But the nice thing is you can schedule tweets out into the future and engage people and still have a presence out on Twitter as well. So it's a great tools that you can go do that sort of stuff with. Now, you cannot do that on Twitter itself. Twitter will not let you schedule into the future. It's got to be live and in the moment once you hit that submit button as well. I'm going into number 11, which is after 9 a.m. So what I have found is that if you are tweeting or sending your tweets out, you want to do it where your audience is intended to be. So I do it after 9 a.m. typically. And the reason I do that is because a lot of my followers are actually on the East Coast. I'm 2 hours away, so I'm at 7 a.m. in the morning. So anytime after 7 a.m. in the morning is when I'll actually put the posts out. Because you know what? People sleep during the night. They're not going to be seeing my tweets or anything like that. Somehow or other between kind of that 9 a.m. and 3 p.m., 4 p.m. time frame is when people will actually find your tweets online, and you'll get far more people engaged in it. I guess, there's a lot of people online at work and stuff like that, sitting on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and stuff like that.
They have it on their phones.
Or they have it on their phones or whatever and stuff like that. Anyways, the idea behind this is gauge kind of where you're at and where your demographics are for people that you want to tweet to. So if you have a business, let's say you're in Scottsdale or something like that in Arizona, you really want to be able to tweet things out to people after 9 a.m. Local time to draw them in if you're trying to draw them in on a business and stuff like that. Just food for thought. I think it's just a good way go to where the viewers are going to be on Twitter as well. So make sure that you tweet after 9 a.m. prior to kind of that 3 p.m., 4 p.m. time frame as well. And number 12, this is the 12 points that I put together for the social, for Social Boom, Jeffrey Gitterman's Social Boom. Followers rock. And the reason I say that is there are so many people that follow you and they click through and they engage you and they talk to you. I've been able to connect with quite a few people and become friends online with them. There's the people who follow you and come to your site and stuff like that, and if you're providing value to them and everything like that, they're awesome. I can't say enough about my followers. They're just great. And I have a couple accounts that I manage. Between the two, I think I have like 18,000, 20,000 people between the two. In fact is I actually have people on both accounts that are signed up for both of my things that receive my tweets no matter what and stuff like that. But anyways, you know what? Give praise to your followers. If they reach out to you and contact you, as I've said before, respond back, just show them a courtesy and stuff like that. And, make sure that you show people that you appreciate them. Once again, I'm going to go back to the fact that if you're providing value, you're providing information, you're providing something to people that makes their lives better, they're going to appreciate you. You appreciate them, word grows, and things are perfect that way. In fact, how I ended up getting onto Social Boom was Jeffrey Gitomer was following me, and he just saw my post, and he went to my website, saw it, and then connected with me. So, opportunities abound also on Twitter if you want to take a look and stuff like that. So I thought, I would go through the 12 points that I put together for Social Boom, and I came up with 8 more. Just because, Jeffrey Gitomer asked me to do 12. There's a whole bunch more. I could probably do a whole ton of these things and stuff like that. But I came up with 8 more.
Points
the 200 points, right? Be like an 8-hour webcast or something like that. Updates. I think Twitter is a phenomenal way to provide updates for followers, right? And we were talking about this with one of our new clients, Chris McKenzie from Infuse Capital, Chris and Deb. It's a great way to take any information that you may have going on in your company or yourself or anything like that. I'm going to use it company specific right now. And you have something going out, like a press release or something like that you want to convey to people. You send that press release out and everything like that. Great. You know what? Why not tweet that information out and push people through to that press release? It's a great way to get people to come in and get engaged with your website, with your company, with a bunch of different things. It's numerous times I've heard about guys down at conferences where they will tweet out to the people in the crowd and say, I'm going to be here, come meet me type thing. And you know what? Basically, people come and meet them at a bar or a restaurant or something like that. Once again, it's a great way to keep people informed, give them information on your business, give them personal information, keep them in touch with what's going on and stuff like that. Constant updates, especially around the commercial side of things and the business side of things, right? Number 14 is Tweetpea. So why did I put Tweetpea in here? Tweetpea is a service that is integrated into Twitter. And what I like about Tweetpea is, let's pretend that you just jump on Twitter. And the fact is that you go and you're waiting for people to follow you on Twitter. You know what? You could be waiting forever, I guess, if you want to. Or you could be active and go out and try to find people that have similar interests and stuff like that. The one thing I like about Tweetpea is I can go out and if I see someone on Twitter that's really has the same sort of philosophy as me. I'll use Gitomer, for example, at Gitomer. You know what? I can go find some of his followers and I can ask them to follow me or try to connect with them. So I would go on and request that they would follow me. So I do this every couple of days. I go on and I'll find a couple hundred people. And I know people are going to cringe. Certain people hate people doing this, but you know what? I'll get to a point here in a sec where, you know what? Don't worry what other people think about you on this stuff. I will take Gitomer's followers and try to bring them on board and bring them into being part of my tribe and stuff like that. So basically what I do is I send out a request for them. I bring them in. Then the other thing too is you can remove these people. If you add people, eventually you have to remove them because you may end up with way too many people. You have 10,000 followers and you got, or you're following 10,000 people and you've got 2 people following you and stuff like that. You need to even it out. Tweetpea is a great service for doing that sort of stuff. I'm not going to go into the details, but look into it. It's a great way to even things out. I'm going to go into number 15, Twello. Twello is the yellow pages of Twitter right now. So in fact, what you do is you can go on a geographical basis, or you can go into finding people that are have similar interests and stuff like that. So ideally, what you do is you go in and you can search and different tags tags, and you can actually get people. You can click people to follow. So you have to sign up for the service, but you can click and add people to see if they'll follow you and stuff like that. Once again, you can use Twilio to find those great people. You can find Tweetpea to remove them a couple days later if they don't follow you back. Give them about 48 hours to follow you back. So that's a a great little service, Twilio, that you can use.
Yeah, it's like a Yellow Pages for.
Yeah, it's the Yellow Pages for Twitter. Social Oomph is a good one too. It's a good Canadian company, actually. I got to put the plug in for the Canadians. Two things about Social Oomph. Same thing. You can actually store tweets in there. The one thing I like about it is you can save a tweet that you want to use on a regular basis going forward, and you put that in and you save it. And then what happens, there's a drop-down list, and you can actually put those sort of tweets back in and project them out into the future, or schedule them out into the future. That's one great feature of Social Oomph. The other great feature of Social Oomph is you can actually, when people follow you, you can have an auto follow back to them, and you can set certain parameters around it. Once again, I'm not going to go into the details of how to do this sort of stuff, but what I am going to do is just kind of lead you to the tools. Go do some investigating, or if you want to find out more, you can always email me, chris@salestipaday.com, and I can help you out with this sort of stuff. So Social Oomph, great little service for doing your tweets into the future, and getting auto follows as well. Bit.ly. So what happens is you want to conserve real estate. If you have a super long URL or a website address, go to Bit.ly, put it in, and then you go shorten, and it takes it down. I can't remember how many characters. I think it's about 20 characters or 15 characters or something like that. You can have 160 characters, and you shrink it right down to 20. Gives you more real estate for your tweets. The other thing that's really good about Bit.ly as well is you can see how many people are hitting your links and where they're coming from, how often they came from it, and stuff like that. And the other thing that they actually do, which I found interesting, they just actually added, was QR codes. So once you do this, they will project or create a QR code you can download and put onto your website as well. So a great little service, bit.ly, or Bit.ly, I guess is the best way you could put it. Once again, go take a look at it, understand how it works. If you go to any of my tweets, look up @SalesTipAday, and you'll see I have http://bit.ly/ and then it has 6 digits or 8 digits after it or something like that. You click on that, it'll take you through to my website as well. The next one here. So I'm going to get people hate when I say this. And you know what? People say Twitter is a conversation tool and this and that. If social guru or social media gurus, first of all, if anyone calls them a guru, calls themselves a guru, then they should be hit.
Run away.
Run away, exactly. But if people tell you it's a conversation tool, this and that, you can't use it this way, you can't use it that way, you know what? Use Twitter the way you want to use Twitter. That's the easiest way that I could say. If it works for you, if it's drawing people in, and it makes sense, and you know what? Use it the way you want to use it.
Communication tool. It's a way to get your message from one person to a group of people.
Absolutely. You know what? If you use it and you're pushing stuff out and you're trying to draw people in, use it that way. If you want to use it as a conversation tool, use it that way. Whatever. You know what?
It's opt-in.
Exactly. Use Twitter the way you want to use it. And if anyone tells you otherwise, if it's working for you, you know what? Just keep doing what you're doing. It's aggravating when people say you have to use it as a conversation tool and you can't use it to push your marketing message out and stuff like that. If it works, use it. And I'm sure I'm going to get people when they see this, if I post this on YouTube or anything like that, are going to send me hate messages on this sort of stuff. So direct messages or DMs, they are spam. So you know what? Everything that shows up there's 1 in every 1,000 is someone actually trying to connect with me. I don't have the time to go through my direct messages. I'm going to get yelled at for this one, I'm sure too. But the fact is, direct messages, they are absolute. It's a spam. It's the new inbox for email. Just take a look at your direct message inbox on Twitter if you're on Twitter and see how many people just send you garbage. Connect with me on Facebook. Here's a money making scheme. Blah 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 blah. You know what? I'm not saying don't look at them, but you know what? Choose wisely as you go through that stuff and take a look at the direct messages that are coming in. They are literally, it is all spam. I rarely look at my direct messages, to tell you the truth. Last but not least, it was with the friend follow or Friday follow or the hashtag FF. You know what? Show the people the love. If this is a great thing that if people are following you or you find people that are great online, stuff like that, give a shout out to them. And remember to leave that 20 spaces at the very end, because what happens is if they see a shout out to them, they will shout out to others and stuff like that. You get your name going out there. It's just a great way to give high fives and group hugs to your followers as well. If you don't know what the hashtag FF is, look it up on Google. It'll explain a little bit more as well. But what basically what it is it's a way of giving a shout out to people that are following you or have retweeted or done anything. You just want to pay extra special attention to them and show stuff. So there's the extra 8. So we're done 20 there, and we're plowing through at a very healthy pace. Now, one thing that I want to say is if you want to find out more on Twitter and stuff like that, go to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/sales-tip-a-day and type in Twitter. And, I got a whole bunch of posts up there on Twitter. Some of my earlier posts have really poor audio quality, so you may have to turn it up quite a bit. I fixed that probably around the October timeframe last year.
Chris was doing them in his basement.
Yes, exactly. In my car and a whole bunch of different things. But anyways, the wealth of information on there if you want to figure out how to use some of these different tools as well. By all means, go online and friend me on there. Subscribe to my YouTube channel when you hook up on there and stuff like that too. The next one here, sales plugs. So basically, I get to put a sales plug in because I'm giving information away here. Some of the stuff you're seeing today, this netcast that we're doing today or this webcast that we're doing today, we actually provide this service for individuals and companies and stuff like that to help you convey your message. It's a great way to broadcast to the world and draw people in, have one-to-many, get a good audience. Great sales tool is the best way to put it and stuff like that. Not going to beat around on this one. It's just, I think it's great. If you want to find out more, contact either Kirsten or I. You can contact Kirsten at refreshedit.com. You can contact me at chris@salestipaday.com. Some of the other stuff we do, we help with strategic marketing plans. We help with people with their sales process and try to hit goals and stuff like that. And last but not least, business coaching. We work through with people and try to help them achieve the goals that they're trying to achieve. So reach out to us if you need help with any of this sort of stuff.
I do want to chime in on a couple other additional. I've got my 2 additional ones here.
Please do.
Can I chime in now, or do you want to finish your?
Chime in now.
Okay. Just as a bonus here, what I'd like to do is illustrate a couple features that I found on Twitter that are very useful. And one is called Tweet Chat. And what Tweet Chat basically does is it creates a live conversation using Twitter. Tweetchat.com. And if you see on this live broadcast at the top left corner, there is the Twitter conversation. That's actually a tweet chat. And what it basically is it's using a hashtag, and everyone can communicate based on that hashtag in real time, and you can answer each other in that live broadcast, in that live kind of conversation. Very good tool for live events. Like if you're holding a live event or if you're creating some kind of an event centric to a time limit, then you can have everyone communicate at the same time in that, and at the same time that message gets broadcast out to everyone.
One to many.
All of those one to many. It's a great way to suddenly have a huge flurry of activity about a certain subject through a large network. So we're starting to leverage it here in our live broadcast. The second one is TW Invite. It's a meetup called TweetUp. Basically, it's meetup meets TweetUp, I guess what it is. It's a meetup kind of online using Twitter as the kind of the connector tool. That's the second tool that I found quite interesting. Now that's in its infancy. I'm not seeing a lot of activity there, but I do know that a number of organizations in and around our city here in Calgary are using Twitter to generate buzz around events. And it's almost like these rave parties at the last minute, everyone sort of crashes a warehouse somewhere. Twitter is the kind of tool you can just create this amazing buzz over something, and only the people inside that network know about it, and everybody crashes that event. It's a great way to generate buzz around something. You're laughing.
I'm laughing. Dude, I'm in my mid-40s with 2 kids and a third one coming. I don't go to raves.
Well, I know that it's being used in the underground there, and I think it's going to come to business, and when it does, it's going to be actually a very useful tool to get everybody energized about an idea. So 2 cutting edge. I tend to kind of lean more on the cusp of new concepts. That's something to look forward to. That's some new stuff that's coming in Twitter that I think is going to be quite popular.
Good stuff. So I'm gonna move forward here, and we're gonna talk about the upcoming webcast. You can always go to salestipaday.com /webinars/ to find out any of the ones that are coming up. Also live.refreshedit.com. I didn't put the other 2 in there. I can't even remember what they are. What are they? What's the other one that you have that lists off our upcoming netcasts?
Well, netcastevent.com.
Okay.
That's kind of our event site. It's the same site you're on right now. It's an event site that is generic for those that want to post their own events on our site. So we just created netcastevent.com
cool.
as a domain. So it all ends up.
We got a bunch more coming up. Next week is Stop Cold Calling 1. The week after that, Stop Cold Calling 2. They're both recorded events because of the fact that my wife is having a kid and we cannot do netcast. I'd be a bad dad if I did something like that. And I think we start resuming the third week of May. We're back to doing a couple more and stuff like that. But they're on this site there if people want to see it.
A couple questions came through.
Before we go, I just want to talk about how to contact us, right? So there's my Twitter thing, @SalesTipAday. And there's my email, there's a website, and that's my phone number. And Kirsten, which is Kirstank, @Kirstank. That's his Twitter. That's nice. Kirstank is like Kerplunk. Kerplunk. And anyways, that's how you get a hold of Kirsten. And just one other thing. Oh, there's where the photos come through. What are the what's the questions?
Well, there's a few that came in.
Okay.
First of all, some people noticed a bit choppy halfway through, so they missed a couple points. Let me see. What are we looking at?
Which points were they?
I missed the slide on hashtags.
Oh.
What can these be used for? Okay, let's just do a quick recap. And I'm going to go to
I'm going to figure out
the search and put hashtags in the search so
sure,
you can see.
Sure. So hashtag, what you do, put a hashtag with a term behind it. And that allows people who are searching Twitter to find out or get your results showing up in Twitter. So, for example, if you go hashtag marketing, can you go hashtag marketing? And I might even show up on there. What you'll see is the results come in because people know you're talking specifically about marketing. Same thing, you could talk about hashtag Volvo, for example, if you want to talk about Volvo cars or whatever it comes down to and stuff like that. That's what you do. So if you're actually sending a tweet out and you are talking about something specific, that's where you put that piece of information in. The one thing I don't know is that there's so many different ones out there right now. Like, there's like, I found YYCRE for real estate.
Now I'm doing YYC.
There's a whole bunch of, you have to search around to find these things. I've never come across anything that kind of lists off what all the hashtags are and what they're about and stuff like that.
There's no directory yet.
Yeah, that'd be great. There's a good idea, right? There's the directory idea. That's trademarked by Kirsten and Chris. No one taken that one. It would be great to put a directory together. Actually, that'd be a cool thing. So hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah. Well, hashtags again. The tweet chat that I was talking about earlier, that's based on hashtags. So essentially, it's all related to one topic of interest, and it just filters out all the rest and only looks at that.
What's the next question? By the way, my wife had called, so I got to call back here in a couple of minutes.
Here we go. So we're going to go to, I'm going to see here, go online here.
The other one I'm going to talk to, just as you're finding that one, here's my present for you. If you want a copy of the 12 things I learned from Twitter that I actually wrote for Jeffrey Gitomer's book, email me at chris@salestipaday.com, and I'll send it to you. That way you have a copy of it, spelling mistakes and all. One other thing I'm going to let people in on as a interesting note is next Tuesday, May 3rd, Jeffrey Gitomer's little book of leadership is, if you buy it on Amazon, save your receipt and scan the receipt and send it into, and I can't remember what it was, but it's going to be up on my website somewhere. They will send you information from 40 to 50 people like myself who've put something together for the book launch on this one, with a whole bunch of information. Mine's about finding online tactics and real world tactics to draw people in on to you so that you don't have to cold call or anything like that. We do a stop cold calling all the time. This is a bit of a variation on that one as well. So we're going to do a white paper on that and also a download on that one, or not download, a webcast on that one on May 25th.
Okay,
what's the other question?
One comment here, and I think it was from Connie, is that she missed some of the 12. So the first 12. So we want to quickly go through the 12.
Okay, let's go back here.
Go through them.
I'll start
again,
with.
If you have any questions regarding any of these 12 and how they're used, feel free to.
You know what the easiest way? So I'm not going to reiterate and stuff like that. I'm going to go through slide by slide very quickly. But you know what? If you want them, like I say, just email chris@salestipaday.com and say, would like the 12 things.
And also, if you happen to be on the computer and not on a mobile device, click on PowerPoint presentation, and the right-hand tab at the top, you can flip through all of those after this broadcast. Write them down, do what you want, and you can access them. Really, it's they're basic tools. They're basic, but I think the most important thing here is
to have a bit of dialogue here on how to utilize that in business and how that can actually benefit you and get the word out.
So I'll go through the top 12. Use Twitter regularly. So use it on a regular basis. It's a great source of traffic to a website or anything that you may want to be doing. Respond. Make sure you respond to people that contact you through Twitter. Don't just leave them hanging, stuff like that. Number 4, share. Make sure that you share information with individuals and people when you find it of interest. Go tweet it out to your crowd and let people know what's going on. Keep your tweets short and succinct and to the point. Basically, get your point across in as few characters as possible. Make sure that you leave 20 characters off the end of your tweets so that it would be retweeted so that your message can go viral. Number 7 is using the hashtags, which we just talked about as well. Hashtags plus a phrase will allow people to find your stuff a lot quicker. Number 8, they have a short lifespan. Any tweet has a short lifespan. So, don't be discouraged if people don't come and start finding you immediately. Just keep tweeting and stuff like that. They'll find you. Start using the hashtags. Look for opportunities online. There's sales opportunities. There's job opportunities. There's a whole bunch of opportunities online. It's becoming like a classified ads, I think, is a good way to look at it. Schedule tweets. You can use HootSuite, Social Oomph, a whole bunch of different services where you can schedule your tweets out throughout the day. But once again, the point we wanted to make here is do not use it as a scheduled tweet into the future, engaging people in conversations, because if people come back to you and you're not responding to them, then you look really bad. You got mud on your face, I guess the best way to look at it. Make sure that you tweet after 9 a.m. or basically when your followers will see the information, or when most of your followers will see the information. If you're all night owls, then make sure you tweet at nighttime type thing. But for me, it's after 9 a.m. because that's when the business crowd is looking at my stuff as well. And last but not least, the followers rock. Your Twitter followers, they're cool. Give them high fives, group hugs, and all the good stuff. And make sure that you show them the love. Make sure that you show that you appreciate them. I'll plow through the next 8 as well. Use it for updates. Go to Tweetpea, investigate, because it's a good way to add people and remove people as well. Use Twello as the yellow pages of Twitter to find other people to add as well that are similar to your background and stuff like that. And I'll chime in really quick. If you sell into a certain market, and let's say you sell cars, you can actually go to Twello, find automobiles, and start following the people that are in automobiles. I do one of two things. I start with the very back end of it, and if you go to Twello, you'll see what I'm talking about, or start at the very front end. The front end is number 1 will be the person in that category with the most amount of followers. The back end are the people with the least amount of followers. If you want people to follow you, go to the back end, because these are people that are brand new, that they see people following them, they'll follow back and stuff like that. The front end, same thing. They may follow you, they may not follow you back, but if you can get in, your tweets start getting broadcast to numerous people. So there's a couple of different ways. Number 16, social oomph. Once again, same thing. Broadcast out to the world, schedule your tweets out, and do an auto follow against that one. Make sure that you investigate these services so that you understand how they work. Go online. YouTube's always a great place. There's lots of stuff on YouTube. Once again, my YouTube channel, sales tip at youtube.com/sales tip a day. I've got all this stuff. I've actually done video posts on a lot of this stuff. Number 17, use Bitly to shorten your URLs so that you can serve real estate in the 140 characters that you're going to be blasting out. Number 18, use Twitter the way you want to. Don't let people indicate how you should be using Twitter. Use it if it works for you the way that you want to. Number 19, direct messages are spam. Once again, I'm sure I'm going to get people yelling at me for that one, but they are. I find them just spam. And last but not least, show your followers love. Do the hashtag FF for the Follow Friday, Friend Follow, whatever the heck it's called. I can't remember off the top of my head.
And my 2 were Tweet Chat for live events, and the second one was TW Invite. Create an event and promote it on Twitter.
Yep.
Get people together face to face, and they will help promote you. I did have a question, and I got one in the chat room as well. I did have a question about, so how do you get out there and market yourself so that you can get followers? Well, I think a good one, one thing to be careful is you add people,
yep,
but you also be careful about your ratio, right?
Yeah, you have to be careful of your ratio. I don't know what it is, and I've heard it's 5%. You can't, when you have up to 2,000 people, you can add up to 2,000 people, but if you don't have within 5% of that following you, then that 1,900 people or something like that. once you try to go over that, and I did this before, and I got dinged on it when I first started going, is that they'll shut your account down. Coming from the guy who got
kicked off Google.
Yeah. So they I broke Google. They'll cease your account for a bit until they realize that you're not really spamming and stuff like that, and give you a couple days. So once again, Tweetpea. Go to Tweetpea, and you can find people to add. What I do is I usually add between 100 to 200 every couple of days, every 48 hours. And then I go back into Tweetpea, and there's a thing that you can get rid of people that aren't following you. So I remove those people. And so, I mean, that's the easiest way to start building that kind of mechanism to do that stuff. Go to my website too, salestipaday.com, and just type in Twitter in the search box, and I've got a whole bunch of things on there that show you how to do that sort of stuff too, and get
the other way to get your word out quite easily is to befriend people that are known in the social networking community as high-end networkers or active networkers, and ask them for help. There's no harm in openly just saying, wonder if you could help get my word out. We did that when we started these broadcasts. We contacted about 4 or 5 super networkers out there, and we said, is there any way you can just blast us out through your network? They'll do it for you. If it's something interesting and you're giving forward and you're giving information out and you're not just blasting spam to everyone and they find it interesting, they'll go out and promote you. They'll do it for you. So that's another way to do it. So
waiting for any other questions?
Yes. So the other one, there's actually one in the chat room. What about a website? Can you put your tweets in a website?
Yep.
Photos as well. How do you handle photos? Now I've seen
there is a way. I can't remember what it is.
Well, the iPhone has some apps actually that you capture them and you post them, and things like Flickr I think will do it. It'll tweet your photos. The moment you post them.
The ones that I've seen is it'll if you add an image. I know in HootSuite, if you add an image, it'll just put it with a bit.ly or an owly or whatever the heck the link is that'll take it through and stuff like that. You know what? I don't do a lot of photos out there. I did it for my house when I was trying to sell it and stuff like that online. But it was just a direct link through that. But sorry, what were the 2 questions?
Tweetpea.com.
Yeah, there's a good one.
I'll put that one up right
Perfect.
now. So that's actually, and websites.
Websites. Well, so there's actually a whole bunch of widgets that you can get that you can put on the website. So I know WordPress has a whole bunch of widgets that you can do. I don't know if Blogger does or not. But all you got to do is just I would type in Google Twitter website app or something like that, and you'll find those things. They'll get the codes.
Depends on your platform. I mean, if you're using a content management system, if you're using something like WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, those kinds of content management systems that allow you to import scripts, then typically there are apps out there that you just take the script and you insert it into your websites. That's probably the easiest. If you're creating your own websites, you're going to have to know HTML to slide it into your code, into your site. But it's all app based. Most of it is running simple scripts that will run inside a window inside your website. So it kind of embeds into your site. I don't know about tying it to the look and feel of your site. You might have some of the app color schemes and characteristics and button styles and all that. So it might not be a perfect embed. I have found some good ones for the CMS I use for business. And a good example is that tweet chat that I've set up. It's a classic example. You create a window inside your broadcast and you can embed it on your site.
I don't have one online.
Live streams, like actually sharing your tweets on your website. I've set up for push.org. I set up a tweet feed and a Facebook feed on her site. It's a nice way of giving yourself that transparency through your blog or through your live site. So I don't
have it on mine. The reason being is because I've got too much real estate down the right hand side, so it just gets lost in the shuffle. So never thought about it.
Yeah,
didn't do it.
It's another way to kind of it's the kind of creating that sort of synergy between all of your different communication channels, right?
Yep.
Ubiquitous. It's the ubiquitous communication style.
That the word on your calendar for the day?
I like that word.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What? Any other questions?
Let's go back to the chat. Let me see here.
While we're looking, actually,
Clout.com Have you been to Clout?
No, but I do have
to go to Clout.
Well, so I use Twitter Grader actually to see my stuff, right? So I'm like in the 99th percentile.
I'm not good with negative feedback.
I don't know. Someone check me. I probably have a crappy clout.com thing. Well, I'm sitting here preaching Twitter. No, I don't know if I do or not, but I don't. I don't let those kind of things kind of draw me back as to what's going on.
It's a good barometer, maybe.
Yeah.
It just depends on how big you want your audience to be, and how. But Clout does it does gauge how well you resonate out, and how well people are how many people are retweeting and using your information.
Yep.
I think that's kind of how that works.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, one of the cool things that I see too is especially through Hootsuite is a lot of people are putting these daily newspapers together, and they take a lot of my posts and slap them in there, and they're actually sending it out to their Twitter followers. So I have traffic driving through to my site from other people who just grab my content because I have Creative Commons. I let everyone use my information as long as they reference me on it and stuff like that. So it's a great way to do that.
I'm just putting my name in Clout. I'm just going to see. I'm going to break.
A couple of things I'm going to talk about. So on May 25th, we've got the Jeffrey Gitomer event. So in fact, we've got it wide open. So there's no registration for this online, but you could just copy the link down and if you go to live.refreshedit.com, you'll see the link that you can click on that one. The 26th, we have one where we're talking about a couple of different ways to leverage or why your marketing's not working. And it's simple stuff that you can fix to actually increase the amount of marketing that you're out there, getting your message to be a lot stickier. So there's two that I've thrown up in the last week and a bit here, I think. Pushing out for the third week in May. So if you can sign up for at least the second one, because we do have a registration on that one, and we've limited it to 30, I think, is how many people can show up on that one.
So before we wrap it up here,
did you figure out Clout? Did you figure out?
Yeah, I did. I did look at my Clout score. I don't want to publicize it. I don't know how to interpret it yet.
One?
It's
one?
I think it's a 35.
Is it?
So
check mine out.
I'm a contributor according to this.
Oh, can you check mine out?
I'll look at yours as well.
Mine will come up as spammer or something like that. I don't know. Once again, use Twitter how you feel like using Twitter, and don't let people
Chris
dictate.
and I we are actually quite directed and surgical in the people we approach in business. We send private invites to our events, and we keep kind of a tight net on the people that we communicate with. But if I were an Uber broadcaster, and who knows how that'll develop, it's nice to go to Clout to get an idea of who you're influencing, who's taking your information and reusing it. Very useful data.
Excellent. Any other questions come up? I gotta call my wife here.
Yeah, Chris is feeling the pressure.
She hasn't followed back. She only phoned once, so I don't think.
Well, I think I think my closing comments here would be: please tweet about us. We've got the if you go to the netcastevent.com, you'll see at the top there's the all the buttons to share our live events. Let people know. Use these the Twitter at the top left here, the little tweet there, and send a tweetcast out to your network, and mention it of course on Facebook as well. Let people know about our broadcast. We are going to be shifting our broadcast a little bit over to bringing in guest speakers. We're going to bring in some influential people in on a live Skype call. We're going to pipe them in, and we're going to talk to them about how they use the internet in sales and marketing. And I think that that's really going to add another level of information for people, because hopefully we can bring in some authors and some people who are lecturers or someone who's written a thesis on technology, and be kind of interesting to bring all these people in and share their ideas. Yeah.
Not that we don't have content; we can keep going as long as we want. But you know what?
Always
nice to see. Always nice to add other people too as well. A couple of things. Also, appreciate your time that you would invest and come to this. Same sort of thing is that if you appreciate these and you find them valuable. One, let us know, but two, please let other people know. We're trying to grow these bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's all about sharing the information, right? I'm a big fan of sharing info, and we're all kind of a big community here. All trying to do well in life and stuff like that. So I think it's it's only beneficial if other people can be drawn into this as well. So
absolutely. And
do we get any booze at the bottom?
Do we give away booze?
No, do we get any booze at the bottom?
Do we get any booze?
I don't know. Now that I said that, people
booze.
go,
I thought you were talking about booze as in alcohol.
Yeah, do we get any booze?
I was getting excited there for a second.
Kirsten was in the beer industry for like 100 years or something like that.
Okay, come on, people. Give us some positive, 100% positive so far. So how about
only
that?
one person voted and it was you?
No, there were 4 people who voted. It's actually buried a little bit in the bottom there. I'd really like to have a live applause barometer that I could put there, but I can't find the app yet to install. I'll have to create one.
Any other questions online?
I'm just going to look one more time here and see if there's any more chat questions, but I think we're pretty much wrapped up.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, anyone that's coming for the first time, we will, because we have your email address, we are adding you to our list to inform you every 2 weeks about the events that come up. So if you don't want to be part of our list, just hit the unsubscribe and it takes you off the list. But it's an email once every 2 weeks. It just simply tells you what are the events coming up here and everything like that. 2 more plugs. Meetup.com/pure diligence, PERDILIGENCE. I didn't know there was a spelling test today. Right. Is one event that we do. It's a live event in Calgary. The other one is the another meetup is the Calgary Energy Services meetup. If you play into the energy services sector, come down to that one. Pure Diligence is based around the investment community, but all about networking. So if you're in Calgary, come on down to those things.
Yeah,
lots of great people in them.
The back end of this live event is the social network that we've created. It is a light introduction. We're just going to put show notes on there. That's where I gave you the username and password. We're going to give people a chance to connect with others that are audience members. And the idea is transparency, let people talk about the subject matter that we're discussing, and meet new people in business. That's kind of the idea there. We're all about the event thing. We like to get people together.
One to many.
So, thanks again for joining us. And please... have a wonderful, safe week. Hopefully you're not in the slippery world like we are here in Calgary. And we'll see you again next week. Hopefully you'll be here.
Well, I may not be. I don't know.
Might not.
I don't know. But you know what? Next time I'm live, I'll bring a picture of the kid. I'm having a boy. I know that much. So.
Well, we're gonna have a semi-broadcast, a semi-live, semi-recorded. We'll have a previous presentation, but we will try to chime in on the questions in a live chat. Video chat online, so it'll be worth coming. We'll see at least one of us, probably both of us, through Skype calls. So thanks again for joining.
Thank you.
Have a
good week.